duel. Michael King on the mound for the Padres and Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound for the Dodgers, and we were not disappointed in what we had expected. It was a Miguel Andujar home run early in the game. It was the second inning of the game, I think it was, and that stood up the entire game. A 1-0 win. Padres beat the Dodgers, but this was huge for the Padres, who I worried I don't think they can slug, stand toe-to-toe with the Dodgers and slug, so they need to outpitch them, and they did in this game, believe it or not.
They did, and give credit to King going out there and, being able to dissect the Dodgers, getting some swing and miss, too. 9 strikeouts on the day. I thought he was, efficient in all quadrants of the zone. His stuff to me is it almost has some deception with that delivery, too. You kind of see it rock back and quickly come forward. And he's not a high velo guy, but one thing about him that I enjoy watching is he's going to use that changeup no matter what, no matter when. Lefties, righties, it don't matter. That changeup is a go-to pitch, and it sinks down and away from lefties, down and into righties alongside that sinker. So when you have that sinker changeup combination and it's working and it's looking like a strike to start and diving late, you're going to have some success. And when you're going up against Yamamoto, small room for margin, and he did what he needed to do. Miguel Andujar, too, has been a good signing for them. A righty that's going to face a lot of lefties at times, but he has power, and we saw that last year with the Reds. And so him getting off in the first inning, right, making a statement early, kind of allowed King to be able to settle in just a little bit, not a whole lot, but you get one run of run support against the Dodgers. That's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think for Andujar, he was second batter of the game, and that was the only run of the game for him. And remember, last year that was an issue for San Diego. Power. I think they were ranked 28th in home runs a year ago. Now they're a little bit better this year. I think they're 22nd or 18th to 22nd somewhere, as I remember looking at it recently. But they do need Machado, Tatis, and Merrill to get going. And the good news for them is that they haven't gotten going, and look at where they are in the standings. I mean, that's the thing for me that is pretty amazing, is that they have played as well as they have without their big three really delivering offensively. And I give Craig Stammen a lot of credit. I think Stammen's done a really nice job out there so far. And I honestly had my doubts about a reliever managing. It's one thing for a pitcher, but even a reliever as the manager, just trying to understand position players in a way as to how to manage them on a daily basis. But he's done a nice job with it. And then yesterday, King going 7, Jason Adam going the 8th, and then Mason Miller going the 9th. Miller striking out the side in that 9th inning. Ohtani did have a couple of hits in the game, but they really shut down the rest of that lineup overall. And so this was a really good win. Winning the first game of the series against the Dodgers, really important for them. Now they try to go on to win the series.
Okay. Look, Steve, I look at, there's always going to be that battle between the Padres and Dodgers. And obviously the big brother is still the Dodgers. And until they find some way to get knocked off, that will always be the case. But these victories for the Padres continue to give you confidence moving forward, even when you're not offensively your best self. It's like, okay, we're still finding ways to win the close games. And I think those are important as you stack up wins throughout the course of the season. And the Dodgers still look like they have, I don't want to say holes, but it's like they are beatable right now. And it's a team that's not extremely dominant. And we know they wait till they get to the postseason at times, but this could be one of those seasons in which some team feels like they have an advantage. I'm looking at the Braves, too, who has a roster that matches up with the Dodgers as well. And it looks like they're not invincible at this point.
Yeah, and yet I don't think they care too much, the Dodgers. They're going to be there come playoff time. They're going to get healthy. All their guys are going to be ready to go, and they're going to be ready to kick everybody's butt. And Scooble will probably be a Dodger for the final 2 months of the season as well. Sorry, Patrick, our producer, big Tigers fan. But Scooble will be a Dodger too. And there you have it. And so we'll see how that all plays out. But a good win yesterday, 1-0 win for the Padres over the Dodgers. All right, big win yesterday for the Miami Marlins, taking on baseball's best team, the Atlanta Braves. They pummeled the Atlanta Braves. And Clayton McCullough, the Marlins manager, is going to tell us next how they did it. That's next here in the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and live on TV. MLB Network Radio live on TV, and we welcome in the manager of the Miami Marlins, Clayton McCullough, who was a great manager yesterday. Against the Atlanta Braves. Well done, Clayton. You were your best managing yesterday, a 12-0 win over the Braves. How you doing? Welcome in.
Steve, Xavier, thank you. You know what? I am. Every time we score more runs than the other team, it really shows how good I am.
Yeah, you look real good right about now. Clay, I guess obviously a lot of things went right yesterday. We've seen things go right throughout the course of the season. But when you look at yesterday's game, what I guess excites you more, the fact that you shut down one of the best offenses in all of Major League Baseball, or the fact that you guys were able to put up a lot of runs in an efficient way yesterday?
I would say the offense for me. I think we've been searching for some consistency, and what stood out was the quality of the at-bat. I mean, we were the number of walks we were able to take. We passed the baton. I mean, we know we're not going to live with the slug. That's, we have some guys that can hit some homers and some doubles, but our ability to work at bats, get on base, try to use our speed, our contact ability, like that's, our path most days to have success. And for us yesterday to really, in the middle innings there, just put together real high quality bats, kind of take what we were given. And then, you come through with some hits with people on base, and that's how you have a chance to have a big inning. So I think offensively, us running those type of at-bats and passing the baton is a great sign. And Max Meyer, for the starter for us, he's been terrific all season long. And for him to get through six, yesterday it was like 44 pitches through 2 innings. And they really worked him, but he was able to get into a groove, and he's come along so much as a starting pitcher.
Yeah, and I think when you get a big lead, I think there's a way to learn how to pitch in those moments too, right? You don't want to walk guys, you want to attack hitters, and it's something to learn for young pitchers as well. So I see the on dad duty hat that you have on. I think sometimes you have a hat on for dad gang, and so I guess the question I have is, like, do you wear that to the ballpark because you've got such a young team that you feel like the father figure for them? Okay, give us a rundown on the hat and on dad duty, what that stands for.
So, yeah, generally I wear a hat now because I do, I'm in public more. And before, nobody would know who I was. I could my hair, I don't usually comb it, Steve. It's probably been since prom since I comb my hair. So I throw it now and cover it up, but I do. I love being a dad, and we have a lot of young dads on our team. So in the spirit of all of myself and our young dads, try to support that group.
I love
so
that.
I gotta clarify. You don't ever comb your hair anymore?
Not much, Steve. I don't. I don't comb my hair a whole lot. I might run a little product through there with my fingers. I'm saying this on national TV, so this is interesting. But I will out myself here.
Listen, we're grown men with makeup on, so don't worry about it.
I'm more of a
you're in the right crowd.
I like the salt in my hair, so I just kind of let it go. That's been my I guess my skip for a number of years now.
Yeah, we all got a little salt. Steve got the most of it, but it's good. I appreciate the dad hats too. I got 3 of them screaming and yelling while I'm in the office right now, so I can appreciate that. Look, Clay, I want to ask you about Xavier Edwards, because I think one of the things that I love about his game is that he may not be the most powerful, big bat speed, crazy exit velo. That's not his game. But I think what I appreciate is you've been able to use him in different spots in the lineup. And he also is now creating a little bit more of the power and run producing while still being a great, consistent on base guy. Just talk to me a little bit about what you've seen through the evolution of his game a little bit this year.
Yeah, Xavier he's probably one of the funnest players I've been around. This guy has a real high baseball IQ. He gets things. He's very aware. In some ways, he's a little bit of a throwback offensive player, and it's coming back a little bit more in vogue. Guys who can really control the strike zone, make a ton of contact. I think that's always been his thing. Can move the ball around to all fields, brings in value on the bases and defense. And what I've seen offensively is He is still the hitter. Like, I think at the end of the day, he's a hit collector that can spray it around, but he is taking some shots, and his swing is in a good place. Probably the best it's been right-handed, where he's not trying to just guide the ball and push it the other way. I think he's looking to, he's staying behind it better. He's getting his contact point more out in front, and I think that's allowing him just to get off much more authoritative and convicted swings where he's not chasing slug, but it's just a better swing now that is allowing him to elevate the ball, and he can still throttle back and take a knock when he needs to. He handles all kinds of, speed, hard, soft, and the bunt game. So this guy's a really good offensive player that for me, I throw him around anywhere in the lineup because, he's just a good hitter that can do anything depending on what the situation calls for.
Yeah, also Otto Lopez leading the league in hits right now. And he's a scrappy little player. I love watching him play. But he also has only walked 7 times so far. And so, when you're hitting 337, you can get away without walking a lot because you're hitting your on base percentage. But we also know sometimes you don't find the holes, right? The batting average on balls in play don't always go your way. And the walk factor, how do you get a guy whose tendency is to swing and he's getting success while doing that to understand that walks don't take away from hits, they take away from outs?
Yeah, it's a balancing act because Otto's always been an aggressive hitter. I mean, and that's always been his thing. He's going to go up there, he's going to swing. Sometimes his ability to make contact can be a detriment because when he swings the bat, he generally moves the ball forward, and that's not always ideal. And he worked hard on it last year. I mean, we did see probably a career 5% walk rate, get to 7.5. So okay, that was encouraging. Cut down on some of the early count chase. For me, it was as much, don't give those at bats away within the first, 2 or 3 pitches. The slider, on the outside corner that you ground up to shorter, the sinker that you put in play early in the count, because with your contact ability, you can always get that. It's like taking the 3-point shot with 35 seconds left in the shot clock. You can get some of these shots whenever you want them. And he's been on a really good roll from a performance side this year, but it's something to, our hitting guys continue to stay on. At least, go up there and fire at the correct ones. And if you're getting a pitch in a place you're looking for, we want you to be aggressive and to go get it. But, try to cut out some of those early count chases, keep yourselves in good counts. And so, Steve, it's definitely something we have to monitor. It's not like, hey, we can just let this go. This is going to continue all season long. The chances of it are slim, right? When you don't walk and you rely so much on only batted ball luck, you have a chance for some volatility. So it's something that Otto and our group is going to continue to work on while he's having such a successful start to the year. We know over time, controlling the strike zone is a real indicator of offensive success.
I think that's also what amazes me, not amazes me, but really I appreciate a part of Liam Hicks's game is he almost hones in when there's runners in scoring position, and he handles the bat so well. He picks and chooses his spots too. And you talked about some old school hitting when it came to Xavier Edwards. The same thing for Liam Hicks. I know we don't put as much emphasis on the RBI as much as we should anymore, but I think those situations are so important. Can you speak to Liam Hicks, who's leading the league in RBIs, and kind of his mindset with runners in scoring position?
Yeah, Liam is, at the end of the day, he's another one that's just a good hitter. The things he does really well, he controls the strike zone and he has the ability to use the whole field. And Liam has taken a step forward from a power standpoint because he's pulling the ball in the air with more regularity, and that's getting to some power. But when he's got runners on base and he's got guys in scoring position, he has the ability and the mindset to, I need to go get the 7-iron right here at times and just let's get this ball moving forward to the big part of the field. And you get rewarded for having good thoughts often in this game. And he trusts that he can check off on pitches and areas he's not looking for. So I think having, still looking to do damage while also being able to throttle back at times when contact is the most important thing. And I think, staying in the middle of the field just give you so many chances for your margin for error to be increased.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. How about Joe Mack, young catcher, called up? He sent Augustin Ramirez down to the minors to get some more work. But Joe Mack, what have you seen from him behind the plate so far?
Yeah, we have, and our group's been incredibly high on the defensive ability, now for a few years. And he's a terrific receiver, and he can really throw. It's kind of I remember when Will Smith was drafted by the Dodgers and seeing Will, like the athleticism he had behind the plate and the ability to throw from different arm angles. And Joe has that. He's very creative as a thrower behind the plate. He blocks well, and outside of the physical, what's been the most impressive is how he's come in and how poised he's been behind the plate. I mean, this is being a rookie is always, there's going to be some transition, and now you're doing it at that position. We have guys with terrific stuff, and he's come back and he's really been poised behind the plate. He's received terrifically. He's been in control of the game. He asked the right questions. So his defensive ability has certainly made a big impact on our group since he's come up.
Can you take us through a managerial conversation with a player who was a rookie last year that hit 21 home runs, and Augustin Ramirez, who, supposed to be a focal point of manning that rotation and bullpen as a catcher, and what that conversation is like sending him back down to the minor leagues, and how his priorities maybe have to change as a major league player?
Yeah, Xavier, that one was a really tough one for me. I have a real, and still do, an affinity for Gus. I watched him come up last year, and he made a big impact on our team. And he was not deaf to the fact of all the noise that was going around him and what was being said. And as a young player to try to separate that and still go out and compete. And he worked incredibly hard. And this offseason, he did a lot of things to try to, improve his game defensively. And I think for us, we weren't seeing some of that improvement play out with enough consistency here behind the plate, and offensively as well. He was just mired in some struggles. So the decision was most about Augustine. What do we think is best for Augustine right now? And our organization really believes in the player and that he's going to come back up here and be an important part of us moving forward. But the time was, go down to AAA, get out of the light a little bit where it's a little dimmer, take a breath. We believe you can still catch, and we want to continue to run that play out a little longer and get down and continue to work with our AAA group, and also offensively, go make some adjustments. It's certainly, it's some pitch recognition. It's trying to get the ball off the ground with some more regularity and get back, to the offensive player we know you're capable of. And right now, trying to do that at the major league level, we didn't think was what was best. And Joe had felt like he had earned the chance to come up here and have an opportunity to play. So it was as much really about Augustine, and then, what Joe had done and what was best for our team as well was to try to solidify that position defensively.
Clayton visited with Clay McCullough, manager of Miami Marlins. Last year when Jacob Marcy got called up, he sort of burst onto the scene, and he was this explosive offensive player, had some power, some speed, and he got off to a slow start this year. And I may or may not, in my playing career, have had some slow starts to seasons as well, where when you start looking up at the scoreboard and you see your batting average put up there, you're kind of embarrassed by it. And you feel like, I want to swing the bat and get 5 hits to try to get my batting average up. How do you get a player to not chase his numbers and to play the game and not feel like I've got to try to get so much back because I dug myself a hole?
Oh, that's tough, isn't it? Because our industry now, it's process. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, like, results, they're important. Any hit feels good for a hitter. It doesn't matter. You should never apologize for a hit. And it's hard to go up there and you feel like you're trying to do the right thing every day. And I want to stay committed to this process and my work and trust it. And you don't get results. In Jacob's case, I give him a lot. He's tough. And he continued to walk. He continued to, work at bats. He just wasn't moving the ones forward he needed to. There was too many foul balls. He was struggling to get to velocity. And, and then the hitting guys, all right, let's go figure this thing out. Let's work on your path some right now. Your swing is just not in the zone long enough to allow you much adjustability. So let's try to get to work on your path a little bit. Let's get some more training on velocity, because that's our game now. If you can't move velocity forward, you're exposed. And Jacob stuck with it, and it was, Jacob, the things you're doing well give us a ton of confidence that it will turn. His batted ball luck was awful. And so that's going to turn, my friend. You're still walking at a high rate. You play defense at a high rate. And like those things still help us win. And you're just going to have to kind of put your head down. And to your point, Steve, after a while, look, you're not getting these numbers aren't changing in a series. They're not going to change a whole lot in a week, but don't worry about that. Like you can, try to start today as best you can, looking up there, and it is what it is. And, go try to have a good at bat. Go try to stack a few good at bats together. And he had a great series in Tampa. Had another good game last night. So, hoping that the luck is turning some form as well. But also he is making his own luck by, I think, moving the ones forward that you need to move forward to give yourself a chance.
A good last quick one for me, Clayton. Just Yuri Perez, obviously one of the livest arms we see in Major League Baseball at just 23 years old. What does he need to do to take that next step forward and be a little bit more consistent game by game?
Yeah, Yuri, the consistency with the strike throwing, I think that for me is it. In particular, the secondaries. We all know the four seam is terrific. He's added a two seam fastball, which we do think is really going to help those play off each other, give him something to keep right-handed hitters honest on the inner half. It's not a comfortable feeling when you get 97, boring in on you, and open up a little margin for error for his breaking balls to work. So he needs to strike and threaten the zone more with his secondaries to keep his fastballs and allow them to play up like we know that they can. And I'd caution anyone to jump off the Yuri train just yet. It has been a tough start to his season. But this guy's made more major league starts than he has minor league starts. So in a lot of ways, he's learning and developing as a player and person at the major league level. And he's learning how to handle adversity. He's got to learn how to get through innings when things start to spiral a little bit. And he's making strides. So it's coming. And I think for me, the big thing is it'll come back down to, can you execute? Can you fill up the strike zone enough, to have success?
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. So, hypothetical question, real quick. So you've got you're winning 1-0. You scored in the top of the ninth inning. Your pitcher's got a no-hitter going, and the no-hitter gets broken up with the first hitter in an inning. So now the no-hitter's gone. You've got a 1-0 lead at the time, and he's throwing 100 pitches. Do you leave the starter in to try to finish off the game, or do you get him out and keep him from having any negative thought about losing the game? Have you thought about how you would manage a situation like that?
No, I mean, I also pulled Sandy in the ninth inning of a shutout with first and second and one out, and that didn't go well. So I think you just make what you think's the best decision in that moment for your team to win. The no-hitter one, wow, that's difficult. And you know what, Steve, and you guys know this better than me, that whatever decision you make, you're just going to have to answer it after the game, and they're usually not very popular when you go against the grain a little bit. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean,
that's a tough one. It is a tough one for sure.
I feel bad for the guy who threw it. I mean, what a game. That's so hard to do nowadays.
So tough. Yeah. Well, listen, Clayton, thanks so much for giving us time. We love catching up with you every couple of weeks. Continued success. Take that offense. You were so good managing that team last night. Get it done again tonight. All right.
I know.
Keep it going and keep up the good work on dad duty as well.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Clayton.
You got it. Clayton McCullough coming up. The morning matchup next here in the leadoff spot on MLB Network.